Well, Jamie, busy day, busy gym, but I suppose focus will all be on Jack very, very soon. So from your opinion as the trainer, how's he looking?
Yeah, he's flying. You know, I've been saying for a long time now, Jack, he's the best fighter in the world at 140. The only thing stopping him from proving that to people, he's getting the opportunities, which now Eddie's providing for him, and consistency, you know, fighting regular. That was one of the problems, and it wasn't for anybody's fault. It was just bad timing, or sort of COVID stalled a lot of things for people. Then he got the horrendous decision with Josh Taylor. So then moving forward, he's put that to bed in his own right, but he's still our world champion. But we're on the verge of achieving that, and Regis Prograis is by no means an easy, nice work for anyone, but they're the type of fights where Jack needs to be involved in. First of all, to make sure that he performs at his best, because, you know, the ones just before you're on the verge of fighting for the world title can always be potential banana skins, because you never know what your focus is going to be like, especially if it's a lesser opponent. So we needed it to be someone like Prograis who's going to bring the best out in Jack, and you know, the old saying, if you can't beat Prograis, then, you know, he's not going to be able to fight for a world title anyway. So they go hand in hand. He's in the form of his career, he really is. He's absolutely flying, and I'm so pleased for him, because it's been a frustrating few years for him. So now for him to be in this position where, you know, he's on the verge of changing his family's life, and he's getting the opportunities what he deserves, what his skill set deserves, it's great to see.
How mentally tough is he? Because he's had these blips. Now, the Josh Taylor fight was delayed. He had to wait forever to get the revenge, if you like, because the first fight, he didn't get the nod. We know what happened there. Yeah. Eventually, he gets the second fight, which was put back. Then he gets his win over Taylor. He gets the Prograis fight. That's got to be pushed back because of a niggle again. So, I mean, mentally, how's he deal with that? Physically, I presume everything's absolutely sound now.
Yeah, he is now. He's just, you know what, to be honest, it's like water off a duck's back to him, because he's been through the mill that many times. He sort of got to the point where he's going, oh, another little setback. But he knows that eventually it all comes good in the end. So that's where he's at now. And yeah, you know, fingers crossed, no more hiccups in between now and the fight. But I'm expecting a big performance from Jack.
It's Co-op Live. It's the first boxing event at the new arena. As you say, Regis Prograis, there's a lot of risk involved in that, as you say. It's a world title eliminator. He will get a crack at one of the champions. You could say probably Liam Parrow being a matchroom fighter makes a lot of sense should he get beyond Prograis. But again, I know it's an old cliche, but you can't even think of that yet, can you?
No, you can't. And, you know, Parrow is a terrific fighter in his own right. But like you say, I believe Jack and Prograis fighting each other, they're the two best 140 fighters in the world. So he 100% deserves this shot when he comes through this. And I'm pretty sure Eddie, he's got the best 140 fighters in the division in his stable. So I'm pretty sure that he can make the fights happen.
You mentioned stable, because I think it's key for any fighter to have the right people around him. I'm not just talking about yourself and Nigel, but I'm talking about the lads that he's training with. I mean, again, you see the characters in here and how hard everyone's working. How instrumental is that?
Hugely important, and I'd go as far as to say as important as having a good coach, because the fighters you're around, you sort of learn behaviour. Basically, you know, you see it with kids in schools, and they learn off other kids because they see people doing stuff. I'm a big believer. I bring my amateur kids in here all the time when you know, at the age where they're on the verge of sort of coming through into the seniors, and a lot of the time I'll say to them, come down, but don't train, just sit and watch, because you'll learn a lot of stuff about you absorb information just watching sparring, watching people, you know, us taking through the fighters through tech sessions, and you learn about work ethic, and, you know, even just something as simple as the warm-ups, making sure that your body's warmed up properly. So you sort of never get that unless you're around people who are doing it in the proper way, who are the best fighters in the world. So it's great to have some of the best prospects in the world coming through in this gym, and also some of the best fighters in the world, and it's a great place to be every day.
And every gym kind of has the number one, don't they? You know, he's on the cusp of world honours now. Jack's the man, but he's seen others come up before him in this very gym. Yeah. And there's kids, there's certain people with your surname knocking about here and everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of, you can see it all coming again.
Exactly. I always talk about a conveyor belt. I always say to him, it's a conveyor belt, and you're going to learn stuff off the more senior fighters like Jack, and as it comes through, you'll end up in the position where you're teaching the other younger kids, like my son, like the kids who are coming to my amateur gym, and they're sort of learning off the elder ones, and then as they get older, they're the ones who are going to teach them, and it's just like a big conveyor belt. And I've been doing this 10 years now, and so in all honesty, by the time I'm finished with it, this is sort of the early days of it, but I'm already seeing that progress or that progression sort of state, style where you see the information you're putting into people 5 years later, it's all coming out and they're able to be in a position to pass it on to somebody else.
Right. Just finally, because I know you need to get cracking, but what happens then, Jack Catterall, Regis Prograis?
I think Jack's career best performance today, I really believe that he's in the form of his career. I think Prograis is going to be a tough test, but I really believe that Jack can stop him. I think, if he goes about it properly, he's disciplined, he's in the form that he's been in the gym, I think by the time he gets to round 8, he can have him out there.
A quick look at the co-main, if you like. It's a Bellotti against Gomez Jr. Really interesting. You would have known Gomez Sr. obviously very well. And again, it's a cracking fight, that, isn't it? How's that go?
Close. We've been against Bellotti, and Akib Fiaz boxed in for British Commonwealth titles. Very experienced fighter. At the back end of his career, but he's probably at the best stage of his career because he's got all the experience and he's just not at the age where he's gone past it. So it's a great fight, but I think Gomez has improved a hell of a lot over the last couple of years, and I just feel like style-wise, he's going to be a phenomenal fight. Really, probably, even though Jack's top of the bill, probably entertainment-wise could be fight of the night. Honestly, I've always been thinking Bivol. Because of, obviously the Canelo win's a fantastic win, but naturally he's a lot bigger. But Bivol's sort of height and reach, I always thought would be the main factor. But then I've been watching Beterbiev recently, and the way he closes the distance and sort of forces his style on people is now making me think, I feel like he's going to get it. The only way I see him winning is by knockout. And I think I've only ever seen Bivol wobbled once ever in his whole career. So tough pick. That's why it's such a great fight. But I'm going to go Beterbiev.